Hey, buddy, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Valerie, Rob, Darren, Jason, Jan, Will. Good to see everybody on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Diana, Kay, Matt, Beth, what's going on? What's happening? What do you mean what's happening? Just a little pullback after making a higher high. It's a classic diagonal behavior. Mentioned that this morning. Probably make a higher high, then we could probably get another deep pullback. Then we'll probably make one more high. Then we'll probably get an even bigger pullback. Just more volatility. More volatility. We've got PPI coming up tomorrow. We've got retail sales after that on Thursday. And we've got 30 minutes of your requests coming up. We also have a bunch of earnings this week. Netflix kicking off big tech. You could say Netflix is big tech. Some people like to say it's big tech. Some people don't. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a big tech stock, in my opinion. And lots of banks all week. Got PepsiCo, US Bank Corp. We had JP Morgan this morning. And their trading desk kind of pulled out the hat trick. Everything was pretty happy this morning, then it just kind of turned sour grapes. So nothing really surprising, nothing out of the ordinary so far. CPI just kind of came in line, as we talked about this morning. Then PPI probably come in line tomorrow, and then retail sales probably come in. I don't really expect any big surprises in retail sales either. Nothing's really changed or doing anything different, or stores aren't really reporting any kind of craziness. And then the ones I'm interested in here on Friday, these are what I'm actually interested in for me, myself. These things have been bad here. Clients of mine are asking, when's the relief? We're just not seeing any kind of relief in housing starts or building permits, either one, for people that do that sort of thing for a living. And this country thrives on that stuff. So this is down, not looking so hot, actually. And maybe it's a hangover effect of doing this instead of just continuing the nice, smooth, easy go. Maybe this, and then we get a dip to make back up for it. I don't know. We definitely haven't really recovered after that big pop. Look at where we were up here. We were hanging out 1.75 million. Then we went through the great financial crisis and the housing bust. Plummeted down here. We've never really gotten back to that level where we were around 1.75. I mean, we tagged it right here after the COVID crisis and that boom afterward, but we never really got back to a big expansion like we had right over here. I mean, the early 2000s, we were just hanging out right in this area, kept scraping. Then we had that's coming out of, or that's going into the .com bust. Then we came out of that, the great financial crisis and housing bust here in the United States, and that just fell off the cliff right there. Blame it on mortgage-backed securities or whatever. We haven't gotten back up to this level hardly. One little tag. So it's interesting. I find it very interesting. It's kind of been really stable. But people I know that do this sort of thing for a living, they're struggling right now. Like, there's not a lot of projects going on. Say what you will. High interest rates. Eating it right now. Just eating into it. Anyway. Hey, everybody. Looks like we've got a few more people. Gary, Frank, Pauline, Mark, Svenborn, all the way from Iceland. Jody, Carlene, Jeff, Sergio, Kimberly, my favorite subscriber, showing up there. Rob. And inflation wasn't lower. Like, inflation just came in line. Like, I don't know what. Like, so many people make a mountain out of a molehill. It didn't really come in anything. Like, year over year was hotter. Month over month was even. Core was down. Just a mixed bag. Nothing really happened. You know, we are hotter than we were last month, but it was in line with the expectation. And they make up the numbers anyway. So, can you trust it? I don't know. You go look at this one's the one that amuses me right down here. Look at this one. This is what expectations have been. A crazy big number right there. I've been expecting like 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Be interesting to see if this drops all the way back down here where we've actually been for months. Now, is it, we've discussed several times in the past few weeks, is it CPI or PCE that matters more? My personal spending, more like CPI, not like PCE. And I don't think PPI really is going to matter either. We're expecting a little pop, but it's been running kind of negative. So this is actually it's been putting down pressure on future prices. So we may see CPI continue to be soft, or at least low, that 2 to 3% area. We're not getting a big chunk of higher PPIs. This leads CPI by, usually something like 2 to 6 months, several weeks anyway. And we've been just kind of grinding, not really expanding this on a month over month basis. So if you're trying to glean anything out of here, it's not much to glean, I don't think. These are, the market does love to react to these things, but direction, I don't think it matters. I've been talking about the fact that I've been expecting ES to grind higher. Been expecting S&P to grind higher. And jump down in the time frame. Look at the 15-minute. That's exactly what I pretty much said was going to happen right there. We did this big, deep 88.6 retrace right there, almost. Somewhere between the 786 and 88.6. Right there. Same kind of thing happening here. Let's just clean it up and talk about it. Remove that one. So we've got this high, or we've got this low, we've got this high. Right there. Take that, turn on 88.6. And it's like the opposite of the 23.6. This level right down here. So potentially going to bottom here tonight and go on another run. Kind of a vicious retrace, but that's the way diagonals work. We had a correction here. Did a wave 1 up to a new high. Wave 2 down. Overlappy. Wave 3 up. Barely a higher high. Deep retrace again. Probably get this to be the 4. Should hold above this low from yesterday. And then I guess that was Sunday night. We got that low. If we go up again, that could be the last one. We may be able to reach the extension that we're looking for on the daily chart. May or may not. Handily, I deleted it. Pull this all the way to the bottom. Right there. So that first target we're looking for is just a bit higher. Right there at 33 or 63.83. 33. 63.83 right there. SPX 63 63 65 roughly. We'll snap back on there. Back on the low. On the low, please. Daggum it. I love the magnet tool that does not snap to the highs that I need it to. There we go. 63, 65. Should lock that. Quit moving around on me. So we're looking for that tag. That doesn't negate pulling back to the breakout level. Like we could stall out right here. Retrace. We hit that. Expect that to be a hit. Then we'll see what happens. I do expect that sometime in the next week or two. Certainly by the first week of August, I expect us to hit that. Netflix pulling back a little bit. Nice spike, nice pullback. JP Morgan. We were at the target. Had nice results, but first move, second move, next move down. Roadmap line. Goldman Sachs. Earnings coming up tomorrow morning. Can we hold? We're sitting at the resistance. Bank of America. Also coming up tomorrow morning. This looks like we might be in for a pullback. Financials looking like we need a pullback. Wells Fargo. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom. Top means earnings, bottom means revenue. Beat on both. And that one still looks like might have a trip back to the roadmap line. Came up shy of the 85.28 target. Let's see. Capital One. That one doesn't have earnings till next week. Week from now. And Visa still got earnings out here later in the month. MasterCard, same. So financials, yeah, not a lot cooking. FAS taking a nice pullback, may come back for another retest of the roadmap line before we can bounce and go on higher. And DPST. Regional banks, yeah, that also looks like we're coming back for retest. Stuff like First Horizon might come back down again. There's like a ton of banks. That was not one. Trying to remember what I was thinking. Oh, Stanley. That one didn't really move today. Let's see. Check my list. And BlackRock. Let's see what BlackRock did. And getting whacked pretty good there. Probably come back down. BNY, that's the one I was thinking of. And that's not looking super spectacular. That's not been rocking and rolling. BK. That one's just kind of grinding the high here. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom. Nice numbers. Kind of unaffected by the pullback this afternoon. Probably going to reach on up 96.95. Came up a little shy. Let's see. PNFP. Post market, no trades. Should be kicking out earnings anytime now. And let's see. Who else we got? And Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, PNC. Coming up tomorrow morning. Like that might come back to the roadmap line. Got MTB. And a lot the same there. That kind of potential first move down, retrace to resistance, second move down potential. I'm going to have to turn that stupid magnet off. And turn off the 88.6 level. May come back. And if we don't hold that, we go lower. It's very, very common there. Let's see, U.S. Bank Corp. So I want to talk about credit card processing being owned by Nova, which became Elavon. It became Elavon when U.S. Bank bought it out. Did some research. Somebody tipped me off in the chat, and so these guys own a large credit card processor that operates a large data center here in Knoxville. Used to be private, and I don't think a lot of the people that work for it know it's U.S. Bank Corp now, but that's the way it is, and that's resistance. We break back down. First move, second move, and a absolutely beautiful correction, ABC. Let's see what else we got coming up the rest of the week. Regions Financial. That's another ABC potential. Absolutely beautiful correction. If we go down, I could be pretty wicked on that one. First move down. Next move down. That's what it looks like. Look at NQ. Had the same kind of diagonal structure that ES had. This one did not go nearly as deep so far. First move up, deep retrace. That one got closer to that 88.6. Made the higher high. Probably gonna get another deep retrace. We could be in for more pain on Nasdaq. This one kind of outperforming to the top. Might come down in here, possibly a little lower on this correction overnight. And then do we push it on up? Good question. You know, these corrections, you know, we could see something take a little longer too. Nothing guaranteed. Alrighty. Hit a few other things. Russell. Oh, look at that. Abby Hornswoggled. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful correction. Sometimes I get it right. CL. Just grinding. As I've talked about for a few days now. We have the resistance right here at this downtrend line, the 618, and this breakout level, resistance stacked against us, support right here, and this low down here. And if we break through this, and then that, going on down probably 50, or even number 50, target on the downside. If we can get above here, 90 to 100 is the target. Anything in between, more of this in this 65 to 70 zone for now. Hanging with my homies. Brent not really being clear either. This looks like it's winding up for a pop. Be careful on gasoline prices. That's wholesale gasoline. Heating oil looks kind of the opposite, though. We bounced up struggling. This could turn back down. So that'd be an interesting dichotomy there if gasoline goes higher and diesel fuel goes down. It's an interesting potential setup right there. Got the first move down. We came up to resistance. Stop cold. Do we hold the roadmap line? If we don't, could come down a little deeper. Now, we did do a 618 retrace and held. So this could come down for a 618 retrace of that move up, which would be right around that low, that high. Right around that 230 a gallon on diesel fuel. We held right there, turned back higher, broke above here. This is probably going on out higher prices along with gasoline. Natural gas been grinding sideways. Unclear pattern. First move down, retrace. Second move down. Potentially put this down lower, actually. Might actually see gas prices go down. We missed the target earlier. Right here, we came up shy of the target. May actually hit it over here somewhere later in the summer, early fall, maybe. Gold, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Either the roadmap line is going to catch up to gold, or gold's going to take a detour down, or some of both out here in the future. Could happen late summer, early fall. Right there could correspond to natural gas pulling back. Silver keeps ripping. Was this the high before we do a retrace, or are we going to keep breaking on out? If we get above the all-time high, that 4150 area, I think. All right, 48. Zoom on out. Monthly chart. 4150 was that high. 48, that high. If we get above that, probably going on up. 59, potentially 81, maybe even, that'd be crazy, but potential for that to be a 1, 2, 3. Nobody's expecting that kind of craziness. I would bet on it stopping around 60. But could do the crazy breakout thing. Could. It's possible. Has the chart pattern for it. Similar like how cocoa has been crazy. Orange juice apparently going crazy today. Copper. Look at that, orange juice. Hitting the roadmap line. Tariffs on Brazil. Orange juice futures. I mean, tagging the roadmap line. So if we hold it, probably going back lower. Standard roadmap line bounce to the downside. We see prices of orange juice back down in that $1.85, $1.95 zone right now, hanging at $3. $3.11 wholesale. Back to copper. The red metal. And we got to the first resistance. I would expect this to consolidate a little bit and then take another run at 650, if not up near $8 before we actually finish this up. Bitcoin getting a nice fat pullback as kind of I expected it to. Couldn't maintain the breakout so far. Jump down. I did update that on my other computer right there. So Was that the low? That's the perfect proportion for it right there. Kind of did a 3-wave right in the roadmap line, and then expansion down right there. We're holding the 1 hour roadmap line really tightly. Held it really well. First move up, retrace. If we can break up, need to clear that resistance. If we do that, we're set for moving on higher. Next upside expansion, 124, 125, 128, 124,000, 125,000, 128,000. Those are the next target zones for Bitcoin right there. Looking at Ethereum. This one hasn't really given it up yet at all. Still being pretty strong. This one could catch back up. Be pretty nice if this, over the next few days, got all the way up here, worked on the breakout, and then the expansion. So we may actually see that outperform. Look at the coin market cap. Dive in, check it out. Yeah, Bitcoin's still the dominant coin. Greed ramping up, but still in a reasonable spot here. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Everything just being real orderly in crypto. Just a little pullback. XRP climbing. Ethereum climbing. Bitcoin, little volatility, but still climbing. Big pullback in Binance coin. Solana kind of leveled off. Not really been climbing. Dogecoin kind of leveled off. Tron kind of leveled off. Cardano kind of leveled off. Hyperliquid still climbing. Little pullback. Same on the Stellar Lumens has been, look at that, 75% the last 7 days. This one's been known to do multi-1,000% pops every time that Bitcoin does a run since it's been around. That's been pretty running. Yeah, nice SUI. Link, little volatility, but still climbing. Bitcoin Cash not performing. That's actually down. Sucking it up right there. The mining rate, the mining payout rate on that's probably interesting. H-bar, pretty good run right there, 41%. Outperforming. Avalanche just kind of hanging status quo. Has a bearish chart. So if you didn't know you could do this, you can pop on CoinMarketCap and just roll down and look at the charts. You don't need the numbers. You just can look at the patterns and see which ones are outperforming and get the percent for the week. Doesn't mean that they won't pull back, but you can see which ones are kind of going with the pattern, which ones are outperforming, underperforming. Don't seem to be affected. Cospa kind of churning. It's been a big mining coin. Very popular. Miners moving off of Bitcoin. Trump coin down. Getting whacked a little bit. Has support at 8. If we can break out above 12, that may actually make a big run. And KuCoin token been running pretty hard. Not up big numbers, but nice consistent uptrend. Stacks coming in pretty good. IP coming in pretty good. Anyway, Pepe up 23%. I got like 165 million of those. If that goes to a penny, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Be a wild wish. This one kind of running. This is the only truly anonymous coin that I know of that's in the top 100. And the transactions and wallets are all kind of private. And it's kind of following along with Bitcoin here a little bit. 6.25%. Yeah. Right there. It was outperforming for the last couple of weeks. XMR. Can't really buy XMR at any US broker because of the anonymous nature of it. None of them want to get involved in that, be accused of money laundering stuff. So That one you'll have to go to DeFi to pick up. Anyway, that's kind of a high level of crypto right there. Now we're to that time where channel members, you get priority. Same deal as always. 1 ticker per person per request. Capital letters, please. Please give me the ticker, not the name of the stock, so I can just type it into TradingView. I'll give you some high-level analysis, try to give you what I think, and all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. All my analysis is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying, selling, trading any instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. If you desire personal financial advice, you want somebody to tell you what to do, hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. I'm just giving you some high-level analysis. So channel members get priority. I'll run through, get all the channel members. When that finally slows down, I'll come back and pick up everybody else. So hood, yeah, target 109. Nothing changed there. CRDO. Target is 107. Nothing really changed on that one. And LFMD. Laughing my freaking MD off. Looks like we may come back down to the roadmap line. This is low price stuff, around $10. Doesn't always follow the patterns, but that one looks reasonable. Come back to the roadmap line, hold support, possibly go higher. And PLTR topping out, maybe hitting the 149 target in full. We have a 186 above that. And the potential to come back down to the roadmap line right around 100. That's the risk right now on PLTR. RPM. Glancing off that's a double hit. Down would be the direction that we can get above. On RPM, DDOG. Yeah, grinding in here. Little pullback. I expect 189, 207, possibly some bigger targets up there. TMC, the metals company, just keeps grinding higher. This is low price stuff. Back to the whatever SPAC, IPO, whatever price. Resistance to that $10 area. Not much to glean off of that one. Not a big fan of SPACs. Their pattern's been pretty gnarly. And it's coming up into resistance, so be careful. This last big pullback, kind of getting into that resistance zone. As we get near the SPAC price, we may see a retrace back down to mid-single digits. Just that educated wild guess right there. YETH. Yes. Not enough chart to do anything with. Looks pretty bad. CRWV, Core Weave. Looks like the bubble pattern to me. Classic. Working on this. Beginning of a rollover. May see a giant pullback with some consolidation in here before we break down. It's now it could just be, it also could be just be working on one of these consolidations over here before we make it even more crazy on the upside. Be careful on core weave. Be careful on circle. All of those look like the bubble pattern to me. So this went up to ridiculous fib levels. That doesn't mean it can't go to more ridiculous fib levels. After this consolidation, we could just take it right on up here and then bring it all the way back down. Entirely possible. And let's see. EG. Bullish, but we got to fill this gap. So major resistance. You haven't heard my theory on gaps. People were buying into this right here. Then they woke up the next day and go, oh my gosh, what the heck? And then we continued down. And they said, you know, I know a couple of these traders. And I was like, you know, I think I'm going to double down. Right? I bought up here at 124. It's a heck of a deal at 70. I think I'm going to double or triple my position. And then price climbs back up. You're like, hey, where I doubled, I just got back to scratch. So it pulls back. And then more people continues higher. More people are like, hey, I just got my money back. Sell. And we get a retrace back to the roadmap line, maybe somewhere in here, somewhere in there. And then we can finally break through. But then we've got these other highs and another gap down. And this other gap down. This thing gapped a lot on the way down. Made these highs that are resistance. So even when we get through that gap fill, we've got this high, this high, this high, this gap fill, this high, this high. It's got a lot of work to go on up. But when you zoom out and look at the big picture on DG, potentially that was a measured bounce. And if we can get through all that resistance, the next few years, it could be a lot of years, could be a decade, we could be up here. Back to sunny good times again. The good times are here again. And DLTR has the same kind of pattern. Same kind of beautiful, big. And this one's actually performing a little better. Less gappiness to contend with. We did have some gaps. Less vicious ones. Got another one right there. So we'll have to beat all those gaps to get the upside on Dollar Tree. And both of those are on my list over here. My bullish list. DG and DLT are there. Alrighty. Weeble. Next one up. That's a bad looking chart. Certainly no Robinhood. It looks like we may go on down in the single digits to me. And next up. No. Well, we hit the resistance. And guess what? Remember all that stuff I just said about gap downs? Guess what's playing out right here? I got off the option. The options I bought right there. I sold them right here. So I have my one share that I bought at $100. It's up 100%. This may pull back in here before we can go on up to the bigger target. We're going to have to beat that gap down. People bought right here. I mean, people were buyers right there. And they got caught. And then they rode that all the way into the dirt. I guarantee you there's still some people holding. Just waiting to get back to scratch. Right there. Be careful. As always, it's your money. You can do whatever you want to. HD. It's on my bullish list, but get another pullback. Watch for a 618 support. It's going to be a nested set of retraces here. That one looks pretty vicious, though. If we start breaking down below that 76, I'm getting concerned that we may go a little deeper here. This could be a bigger one down, and bigger A, B, C. Absolutely beautiful correction there. But we want that to hold above the prior low. Otherwise, we're resetting the whole game right there. Lows is also kind of the same pattern. So both of these have that potential to go higher, but this lows is definitely pushing the limits here. Held under the roadmap line, so downward bias for both of these. They have the potential. And this one's been trying to get through. Tried once, twice, 3 times. Lows, on the other hand, 2 attempts to touch it. Didn't actually do it, though. So is this one as bullish as Home Depot? Neither one's really bullish at the moment until we get above and actually start going up again. But potential reversal. If you're selling puts, 350 could be a good spot. If you already got put stock, you might consider what your plan is. Make sure you have a plan. At this point, no breakout. Got a ways to go. And let's see. Moving on down. Moving on down. RBRK rubric. That wouldn't surprise me if that topped out for now, and we get the bigger retrace. Once again, now it did this. Look at this. That looks the same as that right there, so we could make one little pop. Actually touch that 1618, and then do some volatile stuff right there. Be funny, funny but not funny. Stocks have this habit of repeating similar patterns over and over. It won't be the same, but maybe very similar. PayPal. We get more phone calls today. Scam. My friend Scam likely. Just keep calling. And look for this to drop in here. That's a B, C potential. Now, if we can hold in here, it actually could go on up. Like we have potential. Got the potential, but we're gonna have to break out, get through this gap down zone that's right above my B there. Got to get through that gap to make it on higher for PayPal. AEVA. Watch out for that one to come back down. Roadmap line. ARO. Not enough candles to do anything with. Moving on down. Already did snow. Nike. Watch for support back at the roadmap line. Gap ups, not the same. Like, people didn't sell here and then they got caught with no shares and they're like, oh man, I just need my money back. Like, that's not the way it works, right? It's a different scenario on gap downs versus gap ups. Gap ups, you know, nobody was going short here and they double short here. Like, that's just not reality of the majority of traders, and it's not the mindset here. Now, sure, big funds may be trying to pound it back down and cover the short, but that's a different game. All right, the majority of traders, they buy on these spikes and then get caught in gap downs. They don't sell on these dips and then cry because you just want to buy back in. Like, that's just not, the psychology is just not there for that. So gap ups, not the same thing. Gap downs, yeah. So you got to be careful, especially when the gap down occurs from a big high. Yeah, this, you can see this one right there, that gap down, and people, when it filled, they just want to get out. And then we gapped up even bigger right there. So this may come back down. That was on earnings, that big gap up. So we may actually test this back to the roadmap line and then see. Now, I don't have any exposure to this right now, even though it's on my bullish list. Potentially bullish somewhere down in here. Yeah, Nike right there. I am in United. Pulling back a little bit. Earnings coming up. I expect this to go up. Tomorrow after close, we'll see. Could be bad. Could come back to the roadmap line. Could drop through my strike price. I mean, there's lots of things it could do. Could get a 618 retrace. I'd be back down around 65. Don't expect that, but it could. It's potential. It's possible. Could come back, since this is a potentially wave 2 right here. Could see it come back into the, where we bottom in this wave 4, right around 74. So anyway, David asks, do you consider home improvement stocks being low and an economic indicator? Well, I mean, they all go part of, it's all part of this, right? This has been beat down, been in a correction, probably going to hold underneath the roadmap line and potentially expand down. Seasonally, home builders tend to outperform in the summer just because people like you, people like me, we take on home improvement projects in the summer. they do kind of rally into hurricane season also, especially if we get a big hurricane show up. As soon as that hurricane gets announced, some sort of landfall, usually we'll see Home Depot and Lowe's start spiking, Generac start spiking. People are like, oh, it's gonna be really good for Home Depot and Lowe's. It's just human psychology. So we see those spikes, but overall, home builders and supplies not looking so hot in a leverage fashion. XHP, I think it is. Yeah, Lee. This one also struggling a little bit. That first move, retrace. We have this potential. We haven't even finished this potential correction. If this is a absolutely beautiful correction, before we go further down, we didn't even hit the ideal levels here. That low, that high. See, that's a measured bounce right there. Typically, we would expect that to at least get that much move. Well, that was cool. I don't even know what that just did. That was cool. I hit I have to reload. Reload. Jump back to the daily charts. Start over that conversation. So, low, first move up, retrace, Control C, Control V. Next move up would take us in there. And we haven't done that. We came up shy. So, either that's a stronger move down or we haven't finished the upside yet. Now, if we can bust on through and get up to 124, that starts changing the home builder ETF fortunes right there. Now, HD, they supply some home builders. Most professional builders I know use companies more like 84, place called Tyndall's here in town. It's a smaller home. It's usually lumber company. More lumber company builder supply places that work specifically with builders. It's not places you can just usually as a consumer just go over there and talk to them, and they'd be like, it's usually the places you see delivering big trucks full of lumber. Home Depot has that, but their prices are usually not as friendly. They do have that contractor desk, but usually Home Depot is more like your roofers need some plywood to re-roof a house or something like that. And then Lowe's, same sort of situation. Most of the builders I know don't work directly with Home Depot and Lowe's. It's like more catered to consumers, but both of those kind of look the same. So interesting. The economic indicators for me are deer. These are the ones I watch. These are my canaries. So when things are going good for construction companies, they buy equipment. Deere makes a lot of construction equipment. Also, cat. Now, those two charts look quite a bit different, and Caterpillar took a big dip, but potentially pushing on out. Now, Caterpillar does work more internationally, and Deere does work more domestically. But you can buy either equipment all over the world. I guess you have Hitachi construction machinery, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of Hitachis all over the world. I don't really have a good one for the U.S. on that one. Yeah. So those are my two that I kind of watch, but for just a canary in the coal mine, they're both looking like they might go higher. right now. UNH still got the downside. Nothing changed. We have the upside potential, but with that gap there, still expecting that last final flush. If and when we do it, that'll probably put the finishing touches on this. And that went way deeper than I actually expected. For those that remember, I don't buy puts very often. I bought a straight put because I was pretty convinced this was about to roll over. And then it was up a lot. I sold it out right there. I should have just waited for my target down here. Because, dang, that one went. And I still expect it to finish up. I just don't know how long this is going to take. Right there. Anyway. Yeah, and as Darren says, hit the thumbs up if anything I said is helpful, beneficial. You learned anything today, make sure you give me a comment. Let me know. Let me know. All right. That's kind of the bottom of the channel members. So I'm going to roll back up and pick up everybody else. Keep hanging on. I'll get to your ticker, I'm sure. Not going to skip anybody. Meta. So I go through Meta, and I go through all the Mag 7s every morning. If you didn't know, if you love Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, if you love these guys, I cover them every morning. So make sure you are subscribed and you come check out the morning show and the replay. I kind of give nothing's really changed though. I still expect a pullback on Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Tesla. Potentially all have pullbacks in their chart. Microsoft, NVIDIA, the two standouts of the Mag 7s, doing something else. So that's kind of where we sit on those. GBX, Golf Bravo X-Ray. That looks a lot like a first move down. A absolutely beautiful correction. ABC. That's it. That's an Elliott wave. ABC. I just started calling it an absolutely beautiful correction. I'm actually making poking fun at a local meteorologist. He calls them AB days. Absolutely beautiful days. And absolutely beautiful correction. ABC. So this has potential to go down to that 30 area down there on GBX. MSTR. I think I missed that. Hugh, sorry. MSTR. Potential to retrace or breakout. That's kind of a coin flip here. We are in breakout territory, what I would expect to go on higher, but if we don't have Bitcoin support, I don't think we can do it. 617 would be the target on the upside. And support down here about 320. On. It's got a lot of work to do. Let's just clean this up. Clean up the charts. See where we're at. It's kind of a big picture. Ooh, we almost did a 50% retrace. So that could be the makings of a big measured bounce. Coming up into, look at where we ground sideways for a year, 2 years. Coming up into that resistance. That'll be a key resistance. If we can get through it, we may be able to push on through. Eventually making our way up to 400. May find resistance here. Cause a pullback before we can go on up. This may also, this move up may run out of steam here. We may see a retrace before we can push through, and a retrace before you can push through. Something like that. That's on Simi for you. ACN. I don't care what most companies do. We all love a story, but stories don't actually make the market move. Price and volume do. That's a ABC correction right there. Absolutely. Little deep, but beautiful. Correction. And we're pushing below that support. Firm. Kind of grinding in here. We have the setup to going up to 96 off that last pullback. Did do the things I needed to see, and that would be what I expect right there. It's like 74% likely. SILJ, what a weird ticker. And that looks like a lot of sideways chop. Probably resistance right here at the all-time high. Around 19. And did CoreWeave, did ACLS. Is stuck at the roadmap line. Already did the big ABC. So we've got that low back there. We got this high here. We did the potential retrace. It was an ABC. Absolutely beautiful correction. Let's check the proportion on it just to make sure. Went a little deep. 1618. Got a little too enthusiastic on the last move. That's classic. So working off this low, we got the high, we've got the retrace. Want to see that hold. And key resistance is right here. Where that consolidation happened here, the consolidation happened here, the consolidation happened here. The target is way the heck up there. Potentially right there. If we can clear that, right up there. Now, closer to the chest. We're sitting at resistance. Potential 5-wave complete. We may see a retrace. It dips us back in this area before we can come up to that area. That may retrace us back to the roadmap line. That may push us on up. Struggle to break through all-time high. Yeah. So there you go. That was a whole lot of analysis on that one. Has potential. It's got to do a lot of stuff, though. All right. That looks like Louis Vuitton. And that looks like it's heading into the abyss. And continue the correction on that one. That's pushed below that. Got this support here at 300. It's a long way down. And then this support down here. We could push this on down back here. That's what that looks like to me. Market's back open. Hey, Lulu. Nothing changed there. Still downside target. Still looking for this. Move down here. I'm not going to touch that until we get it. Wait for that 150 on the downside. Oscar. Switch back to the daily chart. Chop, 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 chop. 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 Chop, 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 chop. When they just do this, there's no trend. Just keep doing that. Keep going sideways and chopping. So, yeah, let's just sideways chop. The roadmap line's flat. Price actions overlapping. There's no trend. That's a 3-wave move. Might go lower low. Just chop, chop, chop. There's nothing to predict. It's more of that is what I predict. A stock at rest that's just been chopping. I just expect that to keep doing that. MCD, nothing really changed. Still expecting the same upside targets. 331. Although, could pull that since it did dip just a little further. I didn't actually stop out because I believed that we were going on up. 332 could be the next upside target here. May carry that into earnings before we do it. Earnings out in August. August 6th. And this, this did kick off back here. That was the roadmap pattern. Could take us out to here. Although it did stop out, but could take us out to here to actually get up here. Could be out in November. I have 2 shares on this. Just waiting. Just waiting. That was another ABC correction right there. ABC. The first move was an ABC. Then we got a retrace and then a C wave. First move down. That was the A wave. Choppiness. B wave. And fast, vicious C wave that held pretty much right where I expected it to hold. Now, upset. Didn't add, didn't do anything. Just hold. Just hold. Hold, hold, hold. All right. Estee Lauder. Well, there's the gap. There's the resistance. Got more resistance to the top of the box at 100. Yeah. Not much to say there. There's the resistance, here's support, and there's support. Came up shy of my target on the downside, but that's okay. Can be a big measured bounce if we can break out higher. Long term, this could be a giant trade. 2,000, like all the makeup. I guess all the makeup in the world is Estee Lauder. I don't know. We'll see. Delta Airlines, 110 is the target. Might see a pullback. I don't know. If UAL comes in soft, we might see this come back to the roadmap line. If it does, I'm going to sell puts again. Should ramp up some volatility. I expect that thing to take off. BRKB. Who we going to talk about? Warren Buffett's retiring. Oh, man, this thing. I think probably going to do a big correction. Warren Buffett retires. And we could come back pretty substantially here. I mean, this thing has ripped since COVID. Absolutely ripped. Absolutely. I mean, look at that move. Wouldn't really surprise me at all to see this thing pull back into the 200 area. Back even with that last correction right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. You'd be like, no way. But okay, that's cool. You don't have to believe, like, that's what I see. That's kind of what I think is about to happen. Am I gonna trade for it? Not right now. It's not an imminent drop. That's like a long-term drop, and trading long-term downside is very difficult. The market does not like you to take that kind of trade, so it makes it very difficult and expensive to do that. So you need fast drops to make money. It's probably not going to be a fast drop. People will be like, "Oh, Berkshire, why did he have to retire?" And that hit the 2618 today. Wow, crazy. That was a beautiful move right there. Look at that. This rub mat bounce right out to the 1618. Retested the breakout. Beautiful. Continuation. It struggled slightly at the 272, just shy of it, and then popped the 2618. Amazing. Now, next thing I would expect, classic price action here would be a retrace, at least maybe back into this zone, possibly just right to where we consolidated around 48. If we're going to get immediate continuation, somebody else announces a big investment, we might see this rip to 100. Right there. 100, 101, 135. But the higher we go on the fib line ladder, higher we climb, the more vicious the correction will eventually be. And we could, in an absolute crazy move, could go all the way up here like 463. Now, if you don't believe that kind of thing happens, check this out. Look at that move. All the way up to 3618, and then vicious correction. That's what happens when you fly too close to the sun. It's funny, like when I originally did Market Roadmap, this is all the original artwork. I've never removed it off the chart. Back when I first became a guru and did this example right here. That crazy? And then no more. Anyway. Wild. So, then go crazy. ALB, Amber Marble, resistance. Guess what? It hit the roadmap line and stopped. That's corrective in nature. Continuation. Low 30s. Be careful. CC. Same chart pattern. Continuation. Lower. There's the low. There's the high. Continuation. $8. That's low price stuff. Be careful. CC. ARKK. I'm getting chart fatigue. Looked at too many. Resistance might retrace. It's just based on this consolidation topping out back here. That's where that line came from. Lined up with the 1.1448. Got 79.85 and 97 on the upside. If we may retrace the breakout, push up to the 1272, possibly even up to 1618. Right there. EQIX. Probably going lower. A, B, C. Has not gone lower low, but probably going to do it. Looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. We may get a correction back up in the 800 area before we get a flush down below 700. This may pop up here and then go like this. Got close, but close doesn't count. Gotta go lower low. Needs to go lower low. Crocs. That's on my bullish list, isn't it? Yeah. Crocs is on my bullish list. Potentially bottom back here when we tag my target. Move up, retrace, move up, retrace. Looking for that to hold the 618. I've traded a little bit, but not much on selling puts. Kind of want to see this perform a little bit. Hold the roadmap line, not muddy up the roadmap line. Bullish potential, but we need something. We need to do something. IRIN at the target, 18, possibly 20 above that. IBIT potentially has 40 to 50% upside. Already went over Bitcoin. It just applies right here. Like you just same application. Like 168, maybe the top. 95, maybe the top. If we get 50% upside on Bitcoin, that'd be 33 bucks, which would put it at 100, which would be right up in here. That bucks. Grinding the resistance. God darn it. I've got like, I don't know, I've got calls that are basically at the money right here. I need this to pop on through. I should have sold it here, I guess. Didn't really expect this deeper correction, but life hands you corrections. This is what you get. So still expect the 140 target. And if things get spicy, 200. I may run out of time. My contracts are only out to January. Still got time, but we're going to hit the wall. Anyway. Starbucks. NNE. There's your ABC. Absolutely beautiful correction. ASML. Pushing higher. We got big resistance at this gappy area right here. Potential to go up here, back to the prior high, but it's got a lot of stuff to work through. I would expect a bigger retrace before we did that bigger move up for ASML. Maybe it comes back around. I don't know. Circle, as I said, giant bubble pattern. Talked about that earlier. Be careful. That's what that looks like. May chop around in here for a while. We saw that. And then saw that on SMCI. Still haven't gotten all the way to the bottom. Chopped around here. Big drop off. And then we're chopping in here. That's still a lower high. 618 retrace. Watch out for a final push down. That's like A, B, C. PVH. Downtrend. Lower targets 53, 50, 56, 53, 46. And AVGO, already did that one, pretty sure. Top it out. Roadmap line, retrace. RDW. First move down. Next move down, potential. There's that. Hit resistance. So if we break out above that, potential to go on higher. If we break down below that, potential to come all the way back down and make a lower low. That's a big range. Also in the range of low price stuff. Be careful on RDW, GWW. I like the way that held, but whoo, baby. WW Granger. That looks like ABC correction off a move up, retrace, hold a 618, and then potentially go higher. That's like, what's that, AutoZone prices? AutoZone. Can't ever, AZO, that's it. AZN, AZO. Crazy prices. 4,000 potential on the upside there. The thing about it, when you get into stuff that costs thousands of dollars, the liquidity on these probably low. And be careful. You get into a different kind of problem, low liquidity. So, ENW potential to have bounced off the roadmap line. 220 upside. eBay. eBay. I actually got a package from eBay for the first time in maybe a couple of years. Nice. That's probably an hourly roadmap line bounce. 4 hour. No, 1 hour. Yeah. 1 hour bounce. There's your high. There's your low. 80 and 81 are the upside targets on eBay. Break back below the roadmap line. That daily is your support. It's all the way down here at 69. And WBD breaking through. Upside targets for this first initial move up. I want to see this get to 21 to suggest we're going higher. If I get to 21, retest, hold, breakout. This could be good for massive potential upside. Massive, absolutely massive. Look at this. This is what we're working with. We have a move up, a retrace, and a potential move up. That would be crazy numbers. That's what we're looking at. Potential. 3-point tool. First move, second move. 90, 200, 400, 400. Possibly something bigger. Beautiful on WBD. They're gonna break back apart from Warner Brothers Discovery, gonna separate back out from HBO and Discovery Channel. Apparently that wasn't the beautiful combination that everybody hoped and dreamed. Costco keeps grinding here. Probably. Yeah, this looks a lot like A, B, C. If we don't hold the roadmap line here. And BJ is looking like it might do the same. And Walmart looking like it might do the same. Excuse me. XOVR. And so this is one of those not gonna chart it, not enough candles things. Possibly we have upside 20, 21, 24. This is, for me, this is more of a long-term investment. This is one of the only places you can get private equity exposure to SpaceX in a big, meaningful way. That's the private part of this public-private crossover ETF. This is not a trade for me. If you copy me into this and that's why you're interested in it, this is like long-term hold. We don't really know the equity response of SpaceX. They haven't really disclosed how much SpaceX they own. SpaceX is not public, so that's a big question mark inside the value of this. And I don't feel like this reflects accurately the value of that SpaceX exposure. So you have to be careful trying to use traditional trending methods. But if this was going to go a little crazy to the upside, if SpaceX's value became crazy, we could see this pop from this 20 value up into this like 30 value, pull back, and then go even up to like 40, 50 value. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Not really enough history to do anything with that one. It's not really a chartable thing. And I don't remember hitting RGTI. but potential downside. And carry potential back to the roadmap line on regional banks. Coinbase, I think I skipped those when I rolled the chat. Coinbase hit the first target, 397. I stepped off the leverage train. Anybody was following me on Connell, I pretty much got off of that 445. If Bitcoin and crypto breaks out in a big way, we may see this come on up to 600. Maybe make a new all-time high. Right back up at the IPO high. That's a dangerous place. There's people have been sitting on this. I guarantee you there's somebody that bought over here has been sitting on this bag holding, waiting for the day to get back out. Right there. Struggling as we get through these IPO highs here. Struggling. If we can pop, 600 would be the bottom of the target. FRHC. Had a long day. I've been live a lot today. It takes a lot out of me to be live. 192. TGLS. Probably gonna go home and crash out. This. I jumped off this train. It got close enough to me. I actually jumped off back here. Then we got even closer to my targets. I got on this train, but back here. 11/6/2023. Stepped off the train. 75. I got in. I guess we can zoom up to see what day, what price. I didn't write the price. 11/6 right there. So the high was 31. I got in at 30 basically, probably. Right at 30. Got out at 75. 75, 80, somewhere in there. That's a good trade. It's working on this final push, potentially up into this 100 area. Be careful. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somewhere up there, and then could do a bigger retrace. Of course, that may be part of the. Could do the 3 all the way up here, like this 3 maybe down here. I don't know. And then do a 4 and a 5. I don't know. Oh, we'll see. I'm off of that one. PEGA. Pegasystems. Pegasystems. It's. I don't even know why that fib line's hanging out up there. Do a split. It did do a split. 2 for 1. That's why that fib line's hanging out up there. Here's the high. Here's the low. 60, 65 upside target. ALC. Now the market has not been kind to traditional splits lately, so be careful. There is a split pattern that does not follow LE wave. It's a whole different thing. 78. Maybe try to dig that up. There's like this whole worked out split pattern. I tried to trade it for a while and it's difficult to keep up with. Or it was difficult to keep up with. It might be easier now with automated systems, but there was the low, here was the high. Potential measure bounce here. I do not have a piece of this. Maybe I should, but because this would be forking amazing. Even from 30 to 400 would be forking amazing. That might happen, but remember, this has never been $1,800. All right, that reverse split, that reverse split, that reverse split. This is a dumpster fire. If you want to play this, make sure that you would light that money on fire. This company is doing an Ethereum and ETH, Ethereum, strategy, treasury. Now, you do a Bitcoin treasury. Bitcoin's a limited asset. There's only 21 million. It's deflationary. Like, it's, there's not more of it. It's not really shrinking supply, but people are locking up that supply. Ethereum, on the other hand, has no limit. They can just make more coins. And if they just make more coins, the value of those coins goes down. They may be in a burning period, but they go through inflationary and deflationary periods in Ethereum. It's just not. I don't like to play that game. That's what I mean. US dollars or values go down enough as it is. I don't need something else priced in US dollars that goes down even more. ARM. That's the high. That's a lower high. This is a lower high. There's support. If we get below support, watch out for some downside. We break out through one of the prior highs. Upside right there, 210, possibly 230. Ain't it? Resistance potential for this to do like the Mag 7s, first move, second move, A, B, C, down. As I said, stuff is not, the market has not been very kind to regular splits. That's a regular split. We've seen this over and over. Things that split, getting pummeled. Like CMG got pummeled. Potentially bottomed out though. Kava. Didn't they split? I thought they split. Don't see it though. Nvidia, when they split, back here. Open up chaos. Now it's kind of getting its act back together. Right there. And maybe this was a big correction. We just went higher than the original. I don't know. So be careful. On splits. BWXT, TX, XT. 145 targets. Kind of scraped that. 153 if we can hold this breakout, which we just tested right there. Next upside 153 will be the expectation. Then watch out for a retrace to the roadmap line because that comes higher probability than going on up to the 16180 at 180. MRK. Resistance at the roadmap line. And EXT. Low price stuff. Sideways. Be careful. Just getting back to SPAC price. That is a volatile mofo. Based on the number of these deep corrections in the past, I would expect another one. Expect that to continue. Already did AVGO, Joby. More volatile crap right there. Trading above the SPAC price. Resistance is 17. On Joby, SWBI. Big nested potential. As long as it holds the higher low. Still have potential to 30 on SWBI. BTBT. Want to see it hold this weekly roadmap line. Looking at the daily, I'd rather see it hold the weekly roadmap line than if we get below it. That's not going to make me feel good. Yeah, I think we got a major resistance right up here around 6 to 8 bucks. If we got through that, we could see something around 16. I don't know if how possible that is right now. It'd you know, not really catching much on this upside right now. Popped and then gave it back, gave it back, gave it back. You know, shorting is crazy on these miners. We're seeing that on Mara too. Shorting like crazy on that pop yesterday, trying to get through the 618. Rejecting that. I would really love to see that push on through. And MU probably gonna come back down and retest this zone. If not, the roadmap line right there. Just kind of the A, B, C correction. Right. Stuck in the resistance. I mean, it's a pretty clear resistance zone right here. If we could pop it, something like 20 maybe on right. And Celsius almost back down to the bottom. Resistance area. I expect this to retrace the roadmap line. And air. There's your target 185, 193. Builder first. Down. Potential to push that down. 22. TSM. Potential to push that on up to 245. KMX. Potential to push that down. Back into support. It's just been, that's a choppy stock at rest range. Here's the top. Here's the bottom. Might push back down in this zone. Then take another run up here. Then take another run back down here. Then take another run up here. Then take another. Basically, it's at rest in this big zone from 50 to 80. And you're welcome, Hugh, if you're still around. Soundhound. Well, hit the 1618. Retrace deeply. So that move overlaps. This looks like resistance right here. A, B, C. That'd be what I expect right there. It has to break through that right there to do that. So maybe a little upside to 14 and then back down to 4. Maybe a pretty nasty correction on Soundhound. That's some more. There you go. Upside. 51. Potential for roadmap line. Rocket or EMR. EMR. Let's clear that back off. High, low, resistance, 147 next upside. Rocket Lab, we're at the target. Be careful. 55 is next upside resistance. Roadmap line, 25. I'm so ignorant. I see it ripped down after warning analysis. EH. Look at all that chop. Chop, 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 chop. This has a potential bullish pattern going here, but it's very choppy. There's not good premium here either. Not good premium. I looked at selling puts on this. It's kind of choppy, like that, kind of 5 up, 3 down. First move up, retrace. Second move up, retrace. So it's got a nested pattern here. This is the low. This is the first high. That's the first retrace. This nested pattern has the potential to pop all the way up in here. 244. It's a pretty bullish nested pattern. See this one puts it into 50. This one puts it up to 70. So we may see this go 50, retrace, 70, retrace, final move, like that. Or if we break down below this uptrend of lows, lower low than that right there. Not much middle ground. All right, MTN, Mountain Vale Resorts. This is on my bullish list. If we break out, which we already pushing, turn off the adjustment here. Major resistance right here at 245 and major upside up here at 4 to 600. Pushing through this downtrend. Pushing up into that resistance. If we can get through it, there you go. Nice potential. All right. Later, Gary. Is there any truth to Hood getting permission to sell shares of private companies at SpaceX? No. I mean, it's unlikely. If you like JT's 1 hour and 30 minutes of awesome. Thanks. Oklo. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, give me a thumbs up because, I mean, for the 40 of you still left on the stream, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. 82 and support down here. There you go. I'll be back live tomorrow morning after some sleep. Like I said, I was live this morning for over an hour. Then I was live on Profit Panel for an hour. Then I was live for sales presentation for over an hour. And then 30 minutes of awesome for however long this has been. Hour and 40 minutes. So that takes a lot out of me. Have a great day. We'll see you in the morning for another edition of Morning Monster.